My name is Greg Albers. I own a company called Life Insurance Buyers. We're located here in Greater Kansas City, and I've been in this industry for 30 years. Um, and I want to thank Brett and Peggy, of course, for giving me this opportunity to have this platform, to be on their platform, and the great work that they do. My business would not exist in today's market if it weren't for great people and a referral business. As I was talking to Thomas earlier when we were all on break, I can't go out and buy lists of people that have cancer. That's not something that's available to us in my business, and there are very few of us who do what I do. They are uncomfortable, to say the least, with working with people every day who have cancer, and yet I take those telephone calls gladly and try to help them out on a financial basis. Let me give you a short history. My entire business and my entire industry is based on a 1911 Supreme Court case that declared that a life insurance policy was a piece of property. And since it is a piece of property, if you had the legal right to buy it, you should have the legal right to sell it. And so I have relationships on Wall Street um, with in excess of $3 billion currently of large financial institutions. These are major banks, major hedge funds. I even have a hedge fund over in Europe uh, that are interested in buying life insurance policies back from the consumer for a single lump sum cash payment. And those who have tough diseases, tough sicknesses, cancer being the primary one that I work in, obviously heart disease with men as well. Uh, we can work with anybody from the age of 20 to the age of 99. And for those who are just like me, getting into their senior years, as a male age 76, I'm here to tell you that I don't normally talk about myself as being a senior. So I think I've got a lot of life still left to go. But what we do is we buy life insurance policies back from people. We buy them for a percentage of the face value, depending on what your life expectancy is. That life expectancy is determined by an independent third party. We gather your medical records. We take a look at the insurance that you own. We get an independent report back based on all of your medical information from one of three different companies that'll tell us that in today's marketplace, comparing you to 1,000 people identical to you and your situation, your age, your uh, your sex, what your current situation is, your treatment, they will give us what is called a certified life expectancy. We then take that certified life expectancy and share that with our quote unquote providers. Providers are a licensed entity in the state. Anybody who's involved in this business must be licensed. I am licensed in 42 states and the state insurance departments of 42 states, which require a license. The buyers of these contracts also must be licensed in your state, and they must be licensed in your state. That's purely for consumer protection. We want to make sure this isn't a laundering operation, money laundering operation, or that the funds are coming from some scary place. These are large banks, JP Morgan Chase, you name them. They're all in this business. They're buying policies. They hold the policy in a blind trust, so nobody has your information, and they take over the policy. They become the owner, the beneficiary. They pay all the future premiums, so you don't have any more obligations with regards to premium payments. You get a lump sum check. That check can range anywhere from 10% of the face value all the way up to 70 to 75% of the face value. And in most cases, the amount you receive for selling your life insurance policy is 100% tax free. I will tell you that I've had the great fortune to have done almost 3,000 of these transactions over the last 25, 28 years, ranging from, again, 22-year-old females to 96-year-old men who just found out they just didn't need their insurance anymore. And the premiums got ridiculous and they can't afford them anymore. I am based in Greater Kansas City. I'm in Central Time Zone. I take I work and have an office here in my home. I'm up bright and early. We take calls all day. Um, but it's organizations like Peggy and Brett's that I would like to thank personally. Um, and I shared this with Thomas early, just a few minutes ago. Our business was truly built on people calling us. But people calling us, how did they hear about us? Well, we used to be in two of the largest cancer publications in the United States. We work with AACR. We work with a couple other magazines, and we would, on a quarterly basis, have a full page four-color ad that talked about our financial service. And every single month, the phone would not stop ringing from people who were either in receiving their oncology, excuse me, not their oncology, but receiving radiation treatments, chemotherapy, whatever. A member of the family may have been out in the waiting room. They picked up those magazines. They saw our service. Every one of them would call and say, "I've never heard of such thing. I've never heard that you could do what." 85% of the population of the United States does not know that they have a legal right to sell their life insurance policy, and they can sell it for cash. And I will tell you, the gross majority of those sales, the amount of funds that you receive are considered 100% tax free. That was a 1995 tax law that was added to the 1995 tax law that says that if a person is terminally or chronically ill and chooses to sell their life insurance policy, that the proceeds would be 100% tax free. So we've had a personal situation. I can't go into it too deeply, but with the Miller family, and it was I believe that everybody has been extremely happy. But it is this platform that they have given me to get, an opportunity to ask all of you who are seeing patients, who talk to people every day about life insurance. I mean about their cancer. It's a simple question. Did you know you could sell a life insurance policy? And 85% of them are going to tell you no. I know it may be a tough question because you really don't want to get into that much of their personal life, but I can tell you it dramatically changes lives. Um, I've had people call me to tell me, I had a beautiful 66-year-old woman in Florida recently um, call me after she had received her proceeds to say, Greg, she said, before I met you, I wasn't sure where I might pass away. And today I know that I'm going to be at home because I was able to pay off all my bills. I have the funds necessary today to take care of my treatments, to pay my bills, to do the rest of that. And she says the ease of which I feel that I get to live my life has taken an enormous amount of stress off of me. So it's a simple transaction. This is meant to be a simple call. I don't want to make it any more confusing than that. We have brochures. We're more than willing to share. I'll send them out by the hundreds or the thousands if anybody would like some. But we are here. We're a little self-employed sub S corporation. Again, licensed in every state that I need a license in. We are considered fiduciaries. We only work for the consumer. We do not work for the money source. The money source pays me a referral fee. Everything that when I have a client, I come back and make you an offer, 50, 60, 70% of the face value of the contract. That is yours. 100% of it will show up in your account. And you owe me nothing. There's no cost. And let me say to that too, there's no cost for my time or inquiring about our financial service. If you just want to call and ask some questions and have a little more knowledge, I'm here for you. I'd be more than happy to take your phone calls. If there's anything that I can do, answer any questions, help you walk down that path, help a friend, help a neighbor, help a family member. It can be crucial financially. The disease will cause Cancer will cause 50% of those with a diagnosis to go bankrupt. And that's a national statistic. It's ugly, but many of them have term insurance policies. They have whole life universal, doesn't matter. They have group life insurance with their employer. We have bought policies from their employer. We've actually bought, and we have the ability to buy government life insurance policies for servicemen's life policies. So we just ask you to give us a chance, inquire and see if I can help and if I can be of any service to anybody, and if anyone that you might be willing to refer us to, I promise you that every person that comes through this door is treated like a family member. And I think if you have really any questions personally about me or who I am, I have the very good fortune that I only live about 12 blocks, maybe 15 blocks from Peggy and Brett. I actually did not know they existed till many years ago. And was talking to somebody in Boston, Massachusetts, who said, there's a great organization working with men in Kansas City. And I said, really? Where is it? And she gave me the address, and I almost choked. I went, well, that's just right down my street. I can go by. So I picked up the phone that morning and called Peggy, and I think I was there that afternoon, if not first thing next morning, when we sat down at the kitchen table and had a wonderful conversation about what it is that we do. And they've had a personal experience with me and my firm. I'm a one-man band. I shouldn't say that. My wife's standing right here. She participates with me. She is the detail person who keeps this whole thing afloat. But I can't thank you enough for both Peggy and Brett for this opportunity to stand up and tell you what I do. Again, we feel like we've changed the lives of 3,000 families in a very, very positive way. And if anybody that you know out there needs any kind of financial help, they may not know they need financial help, but they may not know the answer. They may not know that this is even a financial service. I can share personally that the major insurance carriers in the United States have told all of their policyholders, have told all of their agents that if they tell their clients about my service, that it's grounds for termination. Insurance companies do not like what we're doing. And the reason they don't, just so that you know, the reason that they don't like what we're doing is because every single policy that we buy, the insurance carrier is going to have to pay a claim because that's how my investors get their money back. And so again, we relieve you of the monthly premiums, annual premiums, whatever you're paying. We take all that over. We give you a lump sum, and nobody's going to bother you. Nobody knows all your information. You become a number, and that number is stored in a blind trust. And I only use those buyers which are buy and hold, which means they have bought that policy and they intend to hold it in that portfolio, where there are buyers that are out there who are buying policies from the consumer, and they're turning around after they've got 20 or 25 of them in a little package, and they're selling them off to somebody else. Well, we don't do that. You're going to see more and more of my service being offered to seniors, and they already are. They're on the television set. They're on Fox News. They're on MSNBC. It's a company out of Philadelphia. They are their own money source. When they are trying to buy your policy, I assure you they are buying it at the cheapest rate. They're going to make you the cheapest offer that they can give you. When I know that the state in which you come from, I know that there are 8 to 10 to 12 different companies that are buying policies and would like to vie for your policy. And so we create a little auction here. We get your information to everybody, and we substantially raise the price so that we're getting you fair market value for your policy. And so I don't want to, if I keep talking, I think I make it more confusing, but it's really pretty simple. But if we can help anyone, we're going to survive and last. Again, I'm 76 years old. I hope to sit here and do this for the next 10 years of my life. I proudly wear my badge, Miss Peggy. I don't know if you can see it. I got my pin on, and I wear it everywhere. And I tell everybody that I can about your fantastic organization. And I thank you for giving me the time you've given me today.
Well, Greg, I got to tell you, you and Lisa were the angel when I needed it. And it's helped me keep our family member going. So that's all, I want to say. But anyone that's got questions, please ask Greg now, because wealth of information, because You need your money now, not your heirs, if you have life insurance policies. And it will make your life a lot easier rather than worrying where that next buck's going to come from to take
Right.
care of your care.
And as people mature, they sadly in this country, we have a very high divorce rate. Sadly, we
Mm-hmm.
also have a situation where you get to an age bracket where your kids they're grown and gone. Your obligation to them, your mortgage might be paid for. You have some investments. You've got your Social Security. You've got a pension or whatever, and you're making an annual payment of $2,000 or 5,000 or 10. It doesn't matter. And if you ask yourself once in a while, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And will I be able to continue to do this until I'm 80, 90, 100? Well, how long are you going to do this? And if it would free up capital and provide for you a lump sum of cash that you can spend any way you want. There's no holds barred. Peggy can attest to that. You get a check, it's wired to you into your account the day that the transaction's finished, and it's a clean, simple transaction. You've got the money. You can spend it anywhere you want, and you don't owe me a dime. You'll never see me again. There won't be any bills for me. The only time you'd see me again is if you'd be kind enough to refer me to somebody who might need my help. That's who we are, and this is what we're doing.
Yes, Gary has a question there.
Hey Greg, how you doing?
Hi, Gary.
I have three questions. I'm gonna try to ask all my questions at one time. Um, the first question is: it sounds like that. I guess you're a broker. You work with many different carriers. One, that's my first question. Second, you had mentioned you also purchase like group life insurance policies as well.
Yes, sir.
That's the second question. And third, you had mentioned that doing your underwriting, you work with a third party to determine life expectancy. And so my question there is that information shared with the client, or that information is not shared with the
Okay.
client?
First of all, let me make one thing clear. I do not work for any insurance company. I'm not a broker for an insurance company. I have nothing
Mhm.
to, I do have an insurance license. I sold insurance for 20 years, but this is the only thing I've done for the last 30 years. I don't sell any products. I don't sell insurance to anybody. The insurance industry itself cannot buy back their own policies. It's against federal law. So I'm not tied to any one particular insurance company. What I work with, I am a broker and I work with money sources. I work with JP Morgan Chase. I work with hedge funds across the country. I work with providers that are licensed. In the state that you're in, if you contact the state insurance department and ask them who the life settlement providers are that are licensed in your state, they will give you a list of them. Sometimes on their websites they're listed, but if not, they will tell you who are licensed providers. And the only person you should ever do business with in this industry is a licensed provider because they have a fiduciary duty. They know where the funds are coming from. They know you're going to get paid when when they make me an offer that I make to you. You know that that's going to happen. Um, so I'm not tied to an insurance company. I'm not in the insurance business. The insurance industry doesn't particularly care for what we do, because as I explained a minute ago, Gary, they don't want these policies to be sold because they don't want to pay the death claim.
Mhm. Okay.
Gary, and if are you in the insurance industry?
Retired from it as well. Retired from it.
Okay, the statistic which I'll throw it out today. Most people are unaware of it. Um, 92% of all life insurance policies never pay a claim.
Mhm.
Only 8% of life insurance policies ever pay a claim in this country. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing for the consumer bought the product and he used it for what he needed it for. He needed protection because he had a mortgage, he had a business loan, he had four small children, he had a mortgage on his, for whatever reason he bought it. And then when that's over, then the policy is typically lapsed or surrendered if you have a policy that's a whole life or universal life and you were building up cash and you got to a point where the amount of cash that was in there was sufficient to you. You got maybe all your premiums back, whatever, and you decided to cash it in. All I'm suggesting is before you ever cash in or surrender or turn in a policy or just quit paying on it, give us a call and I'll be happy to see if in fact I could find you a buyer. This industry spawned an industry called the life expect that does life expectancies. And there are three of them in the United States that are approved by all buyers. And what they do, Gary, is I get them all your medical information, a signed HIPAA release. They send that information to one of these three companies, and they come back and say, based on historical data, that you, a 52-year-old male that has this diagnosis or is in this treatment and blah, 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 and health history, family history, based on that experience, those 1,000 people, here is historically what occurred. That person ended up with a life expectancy of 48 months, or the mean life expectancy was 100 months, or the mean life expectancy was 200 months. It is because we were able to get a median life expectancy. Wall Street agreed to be involved in this business because now they have a 50-50 chance if they build a big enough platform. So 50% of the policies they're going to buy are going to mature prior to the date we said, and 50% of them will go after that date. And so that's when Wall Street decided this was an incredible deal. It's not life settlements are not Viticals and life settlements are not based on the price of gold. It's not what the interest rates are. These large companies who buy and hold these things are making anywhere from 16 to 22% internal rate of return on an annual basis.
Okay. And you had also mentioned group plans
Yeah,
as well.
we have many people, sadly, who with a cancer diagnosis, if they have to leave work, because they no longer are physically capable of working, the federal government says within the first 30 days of you leaving your employer, you have the legal right to convert your group life insurance to an individual plan with no questions asked, no health questions. And if you contact me prior, we can find out what those premiums are going to be, and I can tell you exactly, really, really closely, how much I'm going to be able to get you, whether it's 20% or 50% of the face value. Most people walk away from their employer and they leave it there. They didn't realize they had an option, and it just lapses. But if you convert it, I can then tell you based on the price of the conversion how much I can get you, and in 99% of those cases it's 50% of the face value. So if you've got $100,000 or $200,000 with a group term life, and we do the underwriting and get a life expectancy, I can tell you that if you walk away from the company and you want to sell that policy, if I could get you 50% of the face value of those contracts, that's found money. It's something that you were just going to leave behind.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, you're more than welcome. I wish more people in human resources in these corporations would make their employees who are going through this tragedy of cancer or this struggle or this fight with cancer would make them aware of their options. Sadly, most people who go to work for corporations who offer employee benefits, they hear about their employee benefits in the first week that they're there, and that's the last time they ever talk about it. You know, it's so many of our clients when they call here and I'll say, do you know where your life insurance policy is? Gary, you can probably attest to this. Many of them will go, what? I said, do you know where your policy is? Oh, no, I bought it 20 years ago and I put it away in a safe place. Well, where is that safe place? I don't remember. So we help them define their policy, or we help them to contact the right people within those carriers to get them a duplicate policy so that they have it. They should all have their policy. And for our business, we need that. That's exactly what we're buying. We're buying that contract. And so when the client ends up in the closing process, they send all the information along with the policy itself back to the buyer. And the buyer he holds then that contract, and he'll hold that and he'll pay all the future premiums on that policy until the person passes. And then they'll submit a claim to the carrier. It's a godsend. It truly is a godsend to many of these people.
Yeah, I can attest to that because my family member does not have cancer, but has a disease that he'll never get better from. And the only way he is getting care now is because we were able to work with Greg to make this happen for him. And both his parents are deceased, so I am his power of attorney. And he's just 41 years old, but his life expectancy is not long. And now he's very comfortable because of Greg. So I know it's helped out him personally. And working with Greg and Lisa were amazing because their knowledge was phenomenal. Because I did not know how I was going to keep him going. And
you're a sweetheart. I know it's a little painful.
Well, it was rough. But like I said, I wasn't even his godmother. My older sister, just a year older than me, was. And she kept saying, well, I can't do anything about it. And I said, I know, but that's why I have taken over and taken care of him to make sure things got for him. And like I said, without Greg and Lisa, he wouldn't be here today.
Well, I thank you. And I thank all of you who have stayed on here to listen to my story. And our story is a story of passion and one in which we really want to help people. That's the only reason I still do what I do. It's the only reason I get up every morning. I have material, all the things in life that I ever want. And I'm blessed to have great health, beautiful wife. I have those material things. I do this. I get up every single morning because I want to take that phone call and help that individual if I possibly can. And if I can help anybody that you know, family member or not, friend, guy down at at VFW post, wherever you might have that conversation, if you ever bring up the conversation that you could sell your life insurance, I promise you, every person that you tell that to will go, I've never heard such a thing. I had no idea you could do it.
Yeah.
And so if we can just bring awareness is all I'm asking.
Yeah, it's totally it, because who needs to have any type of cancer, a stage 4, stage 3, and some other cancers diagnosis, and don't know how you're going to survive the rest of the days on earth? You don't need that.
Right.
And rather go to you rather than your heirs. Guess what? You need to have a comfortable life, because it's only the one above that's going to make that decision when any one of us in our day is gone. None of us know. We're not promised tomorrow, not one of us.
Exactly.
But you need to be comfortable in those. You work too damn long in your life not to be comfortable until our number is up. And again, we don't know that answer. So that's why I say,
God bless you, Peggy. Thank you so much.
Well, I just say Greg and Lisa has been my godsend, because I didn't have any answers and I didn't know what was going to do to take care of my nephew. And now we do. And he was blessed from above for them to find me to get it done at the right time. That's how ironic it was.
It is.
I didn't have any answers or what I was going to do, and they came into my life. So that has to be a higher power than me.
Amen, babe.
That's it. But anyone else having any other questions? Because there's Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah, Greg, Peggy, can you all get like this and send it out in an email?
Yes, I'm going to send everybody's email to each other after the conference, so you can get a hold of any of the speakers that were here and communicate with them one-on-one. And that'll because work. Like I said, you don't need to be broke because you got a disease. None of us do, but it will break your family financially. That's all I can tell you. But we don't need to be when a man like this and the company and the stuff that him and his wife represent can help you. And how ironic that we were blocks away.
Yeah.
Lived each other.
Literally blocks
when
away
I was
from each other.
originally introduced to him. And I'm going, man, I do. I always said God had angels, and now I know for real.
God bless you. Thomas, you're welcome to call me anytime. We'll get all this information, and you and I can, you call me, I'll give you 10 minutes or 2 hours, whatever you need. I'd be more than happy.
Did you give Thomas your phone number, or Brett, you want to put it in chat real quick? Greg, tell Brett your number, and he'll put it in chat for him.
Thomas, I've got an 800 number. You're welcome to call at any time. 800-936-5508.
Okay,
say it again.
I'm in Central Time Zone. I'm in Greater Kansas City. If I'm not here or if I'm on another call, leave a message and I will call you back ASAP.
And it's
Okay, that
there in
was
chat. Brett put it in the chat. 800-936-5508. But yeah, it doesn't hurt to talk to each other. It may not be something you want to do, but it may be your godsend to take care of you.
Yeah.
It may not be this year, but right.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are talking about having to cash out their insurance policies through the VFW, and
Oh, I
it's
know
like,
it. And this will help them so much,
this
Javi.
would be amazing.
It will be their blessing to know that they can, when God chooses our time, that they can go in peace and not broke. Because medical care will break you. I mean, I know that for a fact because it's my husband's shoulder surgery and 2 knee replacements that literally took us down. What Medicare wouldn't cover. And you got to do it. You just got to do it. All right.
I know you got to get on with your program.
Yeah, but any other questions there?
Lots of time.
Well, we got it going.
Referrals are the best business. I'd love to help anybody that would just like to know more information, or if I can call. I really count on it today, because that's the only way I'm going to stay in business is to get referrals and work with good organizations like Men Have Breast Cancer Too. I mean, they've been fabulous to me, and we're very grateful. And I can go on and on and on with platitudes.
Yeah, and vice versa, darling. So
thank you so much.